Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Taking a look here at Solana, seeing what's going on. Getting close to that 170 entry consideration I've been talking about for a couple of days here, ever since we broke through that as a resistance. So the common rule of thumb is you don't just jump in blindly to a descending trend because you're getting close to an entry. You want to make sure to reevaluate and just understand the big picture first. So that's kind of why we're here. We got our macro resistance at about 185. That's previous daily candlestick closures. We had like 6 or 7 at that level. So 185 is a key level resistance. Secondary to that is 180, in which we saw about half that liquidation got swept between 179 and 178. So the majority of that has been taken care of. So we can recount that, of course, or more importantly, just kind of see where we're at. But the truth is this liquidation stuff is important. We're going to double check that first and then jump into the charts. I do want to say thank you so much too as well to my Solana community. You guys have been awesome about hitting the like button and maybe even commenting below. The comments are nice. I love and enjoy that. It's really, really cool narrative to be able to interact and communicate with you. By the way, I have a Discord and Twitter, Telegram as well if you're probably more interested in direct communication, but the truth is the likes are really helping a lot. So it's getting us in front of more people and hopefully getting less Moon Boys those views, because they have a tendency of destroying people's accounts, not directly, but indirectly, because people just put so much emphasis on 20, 30, 40, 50x leverage. It's just nonsense to me. So anyways, low leverage is king, folks. You'll realize that in time after you get liquidated a few times. I haven't been liquidated in years, so it's been a long time, and I'm happy about that because with proper stop loss, proper risk tolerance, it should never be a thing. All right. Anyways, what I'm getting at here is on the charts, we can see lower liquidation levels at 170. As you can tell, there's a lot of liquidation there because it's a support range, or more importantly, was a resistance before, the local low, however you put it. People feel comfortable having a stop loss in that area and or liquidation events. We can see some late longs here entering that came in here just sometime late last night before the price pumped back up, and those are high leverage longs. What happens with high leverage longs, folks, or shorts? They typically get destroyed. So if you're in a high leverage long, you didn't secure profits, what the hell is wrong with you? You got to move your stop loss higher. You gotta take those profits and run with it. When you see online these posts, and I see it sometimes too on my Twitter, people having extremely high leverage and they've been holding on for months. Do you have any idea how much they're getting eaten up on fees and what the return ratio is on that? It's extremely low. The margin for error is too high. It makes no sense. Anyways, I like to kind of reiterate that because people come over to my community often after having gotten destroyed by other communities, and there's a reason for it, right? Again, what goes up must come down. In this case here, Solana is coming down as well. We're starting to see that liquidation delta be too high, so it makes perfect sense the price is pulling back. This was too high leading into yesterday, and honestly, in hindsight, a short at 180 or 178 would have been a perfect case scenario. Obviously, hindsight's exactly perfect, but at this point here, I think we're in a situation where the liquidation is starting to taper off. We're starting to find our bottom. We want to kind of see if that 170 level will hold. The chances are it probably will. So in most cases, taking a long at this area will be safer. But we want to confirm a few other things too, like Bitcoin, for example, just to give you perspective. Here today so far, it is printing a bullish rectangle type of pattern. It's been doing this a lot. So it's consolidating in a range and then inevitably breaking up if it comes from the downside. Or the inverse as well. We saw a bearish rectangle previously, or symmetrical triangle. A lot of little patterns are emerging. And keep in mind, these patterns are based on the analysis as well. I'm not taking a long position with Bitcoin because of that one fact. In fact, we did take a long with Bitcoin, as a matter of fact, yesterday. We got a good 20%. We got in at 67,350, got out at 68.8. Okay, we had 20% in 5 hours. But once more, I'm mentioning that because that had a lot of confirming factors. It wasn't the pattern that we were trading. Okay, so I just like to reaffirm that and reiterate it. Some people have a tendency of putting too much emphasis on patterns. The patterns exist because the technical analysis itself is either contributing in that factor. In other words, a lot of convergence is occurring in most cases when those things happen to the upside or divergence to the down. So the daily time frame, let's quickly understand what's going on here. Let's see. So first of all, we got a bearish engulfing candle. This is generally not a favorable sign. It does kind of spell reversal. So I'd say if we close at 170 or lower today, the likelihood of the price going down is pretty high. Okay, that's again just a pattern, not exactly a reason to trade, but generally construed as a bearish scenario here. Okay, and we can also see too that Bitcoin is starting to lose or test its lower support range. I really don't like the idea of taking a trade today. That's just me personally being a little more conservative. Take a look here at the daily time frame. We can recognize that we're back under 70 in the RSI. I know hindsight's 20/20 again, but generally speaking, when the RSI comes back down and tests that level or breaks below it, that's a sign to sell. I prefer to utilize a 4-hour time frame for this this example. So I'll show you that in a minute, but the key takeaway here is that everything else is kind of pulling back. This is standard retracement, but the overall sentiment is still bullish. Okay, so folks, even if we pull back down to 160, we'd still be pretty bullish on this coin. All right, so again, still decent stuff here overall for Solana. If it pulls back, it would be just a natural correction. It'd be okay. There's still liquidation down as low as 160. So I would say that if we lose 170, 160 seems like a distinct probability. Again, a lot of that hinges on Bitcoin, its success and or lack thereof. All right, let's take a look here. 4-hour time frame. First of all, we're losing the 20-day SMA and our ascending trend. This is usually a shift in momentum. You do not want to take a long into that. Okay. Now, while we could bounce, and we should, this is a potentially strong support range. It's still not worthwhile taking a long into the face of danger, right? You know, kind of like driving into oncoming traffic. You can still do it. It's just you're going to increase your odds of an accident. It makes a lot less sense. So the truth is here, that's not a great sign. I don't like that look. It's not a good look on Solana. We're also tapering off here, essentially hitting 50 on the RSI. It's commonly, again, a support level. So we should wait and see if that holds. If it doesn't, we consider alternatives by potentially shorting down lower. We take a look at the money flow index. It is still high. That's a good sign. But as you can see here with the RSI crossed down at about 1,300 basically. So that's that was sometime yesterday. And as you can see right there, it crossed down right as soon as the price hit 177. So for anyone who is in a long, hypothetically, that would be a good place to get out. Again, when RSI crosses that 70 threshold, it's typically going to continue a lot higher. When it comes back down, that's when you consider selling. I know some of our community members were able to maximize their benefit on that, so kudos and good job. I think Anna was one of those here, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, MACD, take a look here at our divergence. That's standard. Stochastics trying to bottom out. We got some conflicting information here, folks. We got a lot of money flowing in, but the general consensus is that this is considered to be a good value. We got a lot of liquidation at 170. I think these folks here are probably going to quickly get swept at 170, and then the price may sustain itself and bounce to recover, pending Bitcoin does the same. All right. So you got to recognize Solana's pretty strong, but it's also aligning itself with Bitcoin the last couple of last few candles rather. So it's important to recognize when coins realign or disalign themselves with Bitcoin. So I'm not saying Solana can't still go higher. I'm just saying we want to be cautious and careful that it will go lower at this point based on how it's performing. Okay. Again, a lot of it's hinging on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin does look like it's losing its lower support there at about 67.5. So not a good look for Solana. Okay. So sorry, liquidation. Sorry, high leverage longs. You're gonna have a bad day. All right, so take a look here at Ichimoku Cloud. This is another reason why you do not want to consider taking a trade. We've just broke below the cloud, and my rule of thumb with the cloud, first of all, just so you know, is to wait 2 or 3 hours before you consider taking a trade, because you want to have confirmation it's going to close underneath it. Now, this could just be a candle wick down and on the way back up. But the truth is, the lagging span's free and clear to the downside. That's bearish. The conversion line and the baseline are getting close to intersecting. That's generally construed as a no buy zone. So what do you know here, folks? We've got a lot of bullish, bearish, and no long or short confirmations. So I know it's tough, and it's really difficult to to satisfy that itch, whatever it is that you have. Maybe you need to go out and ride a mountain bike on a cliffside or go skydiving or something. If you're that kind of person, you probably shouldn't be trading in the first place. But the key takeaway here is that if you need that thrill, that rush of being in a trade, this isn't necessarily the coin you want to trade right now. Okay, and if you are going to trade, it almost looks like you're going to have much better luck going down than up at this point. But again, it's way too early to tell. We're just barely on the edge of a transition, and it's just not a phenomenal situation by any stretch. So I prefer to avoid this with a 10-foot pole. So unless we get a solid confirmational close at 170 or lower today, I'm not interested in taking a short yet. And obviously, I don't want to just take a long at support because it's a support level. That is a very foolhardy thing to do. Okay, so please be patient, folks. That's all there is to it. I hope you found benefit. Thanks again so much for watching. Make sure you use my link down below to register for Bitunix, folks. These guys are phenomenal. They always make it right. We've used them for the last year, and every couple months, if you've used my link to register, you're automatically eligible for any future deposit bonus or trading competitions if that happens. Okay, so heads up, check them out. They're awesome. no KYC or VPN. That's the main reason why we use them. Have a good rest of your day. We'll look forward to seeing you next one. Take care.